Alright, I had a short crash, but I am back on this. Let's go through and we'll get this completed. We got a little bit more logic to write on the player controller. We have one more thing to add within the player's blueprint, and we should be able to get the rest of the logic filled in for the camera. So in this one here, in our get aim vector, what we're going to need is we're going to first need to find out, is our character valid? So we'll do an is valid. From that, we're going to drag out and get the controlled pawn. So this is going to find out who is playing who. From that, we first want to find out when it's valid. We need to set another bool. And the thing is about this bool, this vector is that it's going to be a local variable. So let's name this variable really quickly and I'll explain it, what exactly it's doing. So we'll call this one out aim. This will also be a vector since we're doing a lot of vector locations for our camera. We'll do a set, and let's just set this. So what a local variable is compared to a standard variable? Well, a variable, you can call this from any of the event graphs or functions or macros, whatnot. Now for a local variable, it's only being called within this function here and really nowhere else. So the event graph can't carry it. It can carry it to the function and this one here. I'm still pretty new to local variables, but could be interesting. This seems kind of limiting, but we'll, the more I play with it, I'll find out in the future, give you guys better examples to use for it. So from that, we have our out aim, and what's going to set this number is we need to drag off our our controlled pawn, and we need to find out what is its base rotation. So our base aim rotation, we need to get the forward vector of that rotation, and we're going to feed that forward vector into our vector for our out aim. Now, with that being done, we need something that's going to stand in for what happens if this is not valid. So if it's not valid, we need to set the out aim again. And this time we need to get the control rotation. Alright, I'm just going to get rotation. And we have get control rotation. And we want to not get the forward vector of this, but we are going to be getting the x forward vector. So it's going to find out which direction they are in the x. Pretty self-explanatory. So from that, we're going to need something that's going to be an output. And let's get rid of this. And it's not going to be a bool, but it's going to actually be getting the out aim of this value here. We can actually get down here because this way it's going to find it either or for this kind of situation. So just because we can, I'm going to do a double click and add a little node, and this is going to be our value. So if it's valid, it's going to influence this and it's going to set that. If it's not valid, then it will set it the other way around. We can drag the get up to here. It'll give us a new value to put in, and I'm going to call this one aim. And let's do the same thing we did in the get view. Keep things consistent. So I'm going to drag this on up, unplug that, the out view location, plug that in, compile, save it, hit Control S to save everything. Alright, now that we're up to speed with everything on our player controller, we need to make sure this player controller is actually being used within our game. So we can close our player controller down. We can go to the third person example map in our content browser. I need to locate my window, go to edits, project settings. So you didn't have to go to the content browser to do this, just need to get to the settings. Go to maps and modes, and come down to the default modes. If you drop that selected game mode down, we're going to need to go into our player controller class, and we want to replace this with our third person controller player that we made. So it'll be using this instead. So let's close out our project settings. Let's get back to our third person character, and let's make that one other function that we need that we could have made earlier but I forgot to. So let's get that done now. And we're going to call this one here our deselecting here. Let's call this our get casted owner. This is going to be a pure function. It's not a whole lot of programming, thank God. We'll just do a get controller. So what exactly or who's controlling this actor, and we'll cast this the third person controller that we made. Let's convert this cast into a pure, and from this let's do an output, and I want my output to be two different ones. First I want my TPS player controller to be the player controller that we used, and then I want the success of this to be is it valid, so let's call this is valid. Let's compile and save that, and now let's go ahead and assemble the rest of our camera aim. So as far as we are right now, if we were to play this, we can actually aim right now and we can shoot. Problem is, this thing all my line traces want to go to the world 0, 0. So if I were to shoot like crazy back here, cool thing is everything's coming out the muzzle, but it's all going to 0, 0, so we're not able to come off the camera just yet. Because its only endpoint is it's not using the camera, it's only going to read to 0, 0, 0 the world space. So let's get that end plugged in. So for this, we're going to drag off our owning pawn. We're going to get casted controller. Okay, it's not showing up. Why not? It's here. I'm doing a check very quickly to see what I might have missed. TPS player controller. Let's see if we're using the right one here. Control blueprint 2. If it's coming in as a reference, I feel like I might end up doing this again. Casted owner. Wow, I'm stupid. I totally apologize for that. I was thinking of a different word. So it was, this is our owner that we made. Oh my gosh. Okay, anyways. Almost done here, so let's finish this out. Yeah, it's 4 a.m. on my end. This will be the bad last video I put out for you guys. So we'll do a get viewpoint, which this is not a pure yet, but let's just drag in our other function that we need is get aim vector. Let's jump back to our player controller by double clicking that. It'll open our player controller up for us again, and let's convert these both into pures. Compile that. Alright, almost there. Let's get the last two logics. So what we need for our aim is we need to multiply this by 10,000. Reason for multiplying this by 10,000 is because this way anything that we miss, it'll only go out to 10,000 units. That's as far as it'll go. 100,000, I apologize, I misread the zeros there. So it won't go on for infinite. It'll actually have a stopping point at some time. And we're going to add this into our viewpoint. And this will end up contributing to be our endpoint. So we'll compile, we'll save this. And we need one more thing to actually bring this all together in case we miss. So right now, if we were to aim and shoot, we are now being able to shoot wherever we're looking within the camera center point. So let's add something that'll actually take care of this in case we miss. Because if we were to miss, which I did not show, it'll just go on forever. So all we gotta do is we'll drag this total value down, we'll minus it from our muzzle, and then that'll drive our B influence of our vector location. Okay, so that pretty much concludes getting our logic in for aiming. So let's do one more thing and then this video will be closed out. And that is, we're going to actually do something worthwhile. Is within our weapon master blueprint, let's get out of the camera aim. And I'm going to bring up the event graph. And under start fire, let's go in there. And let's do something at the end. Now this will only be able to be seen between the server will only be able to see what he does, and the client will only be able to see what he does. But still, it's better than not just seeing red line traces everywhere. But we'll do a spawn a particle or emitter at the location. The location is going to be our aim vector, I do believe. Yep, because the aim vector is where we're ending. And let's make it our explosion that comes with the starter content. So P explosion. And you can attach sounds or do anything crazy you want to do like that. So for now, I'm going to turn off our debug for our camera aim. So I'm going to turn it to none, so we're not seeing it anymore. We go back to the main. I'm going to control save everything I've done, and let's play it. So now, if we're aiming, we can now shoot, and we're seeing explosions. Woo. So that's our client doing his part, and then our server can shoot as well. Can't shoot the client, I don't believe. No, because it'll just go right through him. And for the client, can't shoot the server either. However, the line traces will detect that you're hitting them, I do believe. But that'll be for another day of getting this guy set up. So hopefully everything I've provided so far has been helpful. I'll come up with some additional videos down the road. And stuff's going to be including, like, getting the foot IK to work on stairs. Getting better animations in for this guy. If you guys need help going over anything like the animation rigging toolkit, which is an awesome animation tool, just let me know and I can point you in the right directions. And really anything else. But other than that, I think the next series of videos is going to be just more of the advanced stuff. We're going to be setting up more logic in terms of blueprint, getting them game functions working, getting to hit each other, getting the projectiles to shoot out the way, and just getting a lot better animation stuff going. Eventually, my ultimate goal is to eventually get these guys to go into cover, because that's something I want to set up one day. So other than that, stay tuned, because I will be doing this hopefully with a buddy of mine, and we'll get some characters working together. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you again later. Have a good night.